welcome to this live edition of PTV Heat. Introducing first, lover of comedy, wrestling, defender of cinematic matches, and an overall swell guy, Tennant. And up next, consumer of bootios, no Jeff Hardy stan and tornado tag match enthusiast, Henry Lee Hill.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as our wonderful announcer said, hello and welcome to a very special live in-person episode of PTV Heat. Today we'll be running down the card for AEW Full Gear happening today, November 12th. With me as always, Heaven Hill. How are you doing this fine Saturday?
You know what, Cooper, I'm doing fantastic. Tonight is going to be a brilliant night, a bunch of great matches, and I can't wait to break them down with you.
I agree. It is guaranteed to be an insane card and probably a very big night. Let's start off with the buy-in. Nyla Rose and Jamie Hayter versus Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida. I'm gonna pick Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida because the two of them are probably the two top women in the women's division in AEW, other than Britt Baker, of course. And I honestly think that Thunder Rosa, I mean, this is a spoiler for my next prediction, but I seem to do that every episode. I think Thunder Rosa is going to be the person to take the belt off of Britt Baker personally. And I have actually really enjoyed this story that they've been doing with Hikaru Shida and her, first woman to reach 50 wins or 100 wins in AEW.
I think it was 50?
50, yeah. I thought it was really interesting. They had that whole big debacle where it was Jamie Hayter, right, who stopped her from the 50th win, something like that. But I mean, I'm going to go with Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida. Have the faces win on a nice pre-show. I like that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I feel like it makes perfect sense. No disrespect to Nyla or Jamie, but Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida are just on another level right now. I mean, they are in that upper echelon with Britt Baker, and I feel like they're going to get the win. Maybe AEW goes for a swerve and decides to give the heels the victory, but I just don't see it. I feel like Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida could use that little extra bit of momentum, and I mean, I see Thunder Rosa being the one to take the belt from Britt Baker as well. Now, I don't know when that's going to happen because Britt is having a heck of a run right now, but I think Thunder Rosa is definitely a top contender to do that, and with a win here on Full Gear, I think she'll be just a little closer to achieving that goal.
I agree. Moving on to the main card. First up, we got Pac and Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo. This is a bit of a thrown-together match, but the talent involved appears to be very impressive. Malachi Black and Cody are obviously in a feud, and Malachi and Cody are in a feud, and Andrade and Pac are in a feud. So I guess it makes sense to pair them. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want Cody Rhodes to win anymore. So I'm going to go with Malachi Black and Andrade. One, because Malachi lost the big feud, the actual feud between him and Cody. And I really think that Malachi needs a win. It seems like he's trying to change up his character a little bit. And I think winning over Cody, kind of getting that fire back in him would work. And I don't want Andrade to lose because he's kind of on top of the world right now.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You know what? This is now twice, but I'm going to have to agree. I feel like, yes, he lost the overall feud, and I feel like Malachi Black pretty much needs a win right now to build any sort of credibility whatsoever. I mean, Cody Rhodes is a tremendous talent, but having him beat guys that you bring in all the time probably isn't the best look, and I think Malachi is trending upwards. He's been adding members to his House of Black faction recently as of late, and I think this could be a huge stepping stone in him becoming a top talent and getting that win back over Cody. And it's been rumored, but we might be seeing Cody Rhodes turn heel today as well. So
I would like that.
I would really like that because, he's tremendous, and he's so talented. He could play either side of the fence. He's done great work, whether as a heel or as a face, and I think that if he turns heel on Pac, I would love to see the rivalry between them two. And, that's two birds with one stone. Andrade and Malachi get that win that they need. Cody turns heel on Pac. You get a rivalry between those two. I feel like that is the way to go, and I'm picking Malachi and Andrade to get the W here.
I'm glad we agree. I do think Cody Rhodes, his recent run as a face has been kind of misguided, I want to say. Like, he hasn't really been getting cheered at all because he isn't really playing a face. He's kind of
Literally.
He's kind of rude to try to, not have to censor myself. Up next, though, we have a pinnacle match, I'm going to call it, or the pillar match, sorry. It's the two of the 4 pillars of AEW, as they're called, the 2 young upstarts, Darby Allin versus MJF. I'm going to let you go first on this one. I want to hear your reasoning.
You know what? I'm going to go with MJF.
All right.
And I was leaning Darby for a lot of this, but I just feel like MJF needs the win more than Darby does. Like, Darby is great, right? He's cool. And like you said, these are the two of the brightest young stars AEW has to offer. And this is probably the toughest match to predict on the card.
I agree with you there.
Both of them winning makes complete sense. And, depending on results later in the night, that could affect, who wins this match as well and, where the story goes from here. But I don't want to spoil my prediction later. I'm sure we're going to have the same prediction. But if what happens later, if what I think is going to happens, then the new world champion is going to need a heel to face. And I think MJF, and one of my predictions later, will be those guys that, he can step into the ring with. So I'm going to go with MJF. A big win over Darby Allin would put him near the top of the title contender list, if not at the very top. And I think this could be huge for him. And also, Darby's already had a championship in AEW.
A great TNT title run.
He was phenomenal, whereas MJF somehow hasn't had a title yet.
Yeah.
Like, he's been a top guy in the company for forever, it seems. And he hasn't had his run with the belt. So I think getting a victory here would be crucial. Now I could see Darby winning. There's been some friction between MJF and Wardlow, but I think at the end of the day, I think MJF's going to pull out the victory here.
I'm glad you brought up friction between MJF and Wardlow because I'm picking Darby Allin because I think there's going to be some kind of Wardlow interference. I think it's because the story of this match so far has been MJF coming out week after week challenging Darby to a wrestling match, a straight-up wrestling match. And knowing that, it makes me want to pick MJF because it really seems like AEW would not take the risk, but play into the MJF and give him a win because if you follow the kayfabe, quote unquote, like MJF is a better wrestler than Darby Allin in terms of technical skill. Darby Allin tends to kind of throw himself at stuff. So the match that we're going to see tonight is going to be a wrestling match. But I'm picking Darby Allin because I feel like at one point Darby might have MJF on the ropes and MJF is going to have to resort to Wardlow to try and interfere. But I don't think Wardlow's going to do anything. Either that or he's going to mess it up. He's going to get one of them disqualified. And then at the end, MJF is going to blow up on Wardlow. And I think Wardlow will turn on MJF. And a solo run, I mean, obviously, MJF versus Wardlow, that'd be a feud for a bit. But a solo Wardlow run, my goodness. That's a big boy right there. That is a big boy. Like, oh, man, him versus Eddie Kingston, him versus Miro, like, man, my mind's racing.
Two big meaty men bumping meat.
Two big men bumping meat, I gotta say. So I'm picking Darby Allin, but I do think this is the hardest to predict match on the card. It could literally go either way. Up next, we're gonna be doing a Falls Count Anywhere match. Christian Cage and Jurassic Express versus Adam Cole and the Young Bucks, otherwise known as the Super Click. I'm gonna pick Adam Cole and the Young Bucks, the Super Click, because I have a feeling later on in the night, someone in the Elite is going to end up losing. So I feel like they kind of want to balance it out. Because last time, the same night that the Young Bucks lost their belts, Kenny won. And so I think tonight, that person might lose, and the Young Bucks are going to win. Also, I think that this would be a good time to kind of separate Christian Cage from Jurassic Express. I feel like they were cool at first. I like him being a mentor to Jungle Boy. But I feel like it's kind of wore out his welcome. I want to see Jurassic Express shine on their own without Christian. And I want to see Christian turn because I think Christian versus Jungle Boy or Christian versus Jurassic Express or whatever would be an amazing feud. And I'd love to see Jungle Boy go over Christian. What do you have to say?
You know, I'm going to predict the same. I think the Super Click is going to come out with the victory here. I feel like this is going to be easily probably the best match on the card
I agree.
tonight.
False count anywheres.
I mean, there's just so much talent in there. Like, it's going to be absolute madness. I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun. These two teams have been trading wins pretty much on Dynamite and Rampage, you know, back and forth. But obviously, one team has to come out on top, and I think that should be the Super Click. You know, it's a false count anywhere match, so regardless of who loses, it's not going to look, you know, that bad because it's not going to be a clean loss, obviously. And a loss won't hurt either team, but I think it's important to keep Adam Cole looking strong, you know, have him at the top of his game, you know, racking up victories so that he still has that big-time appeal, and you keep the Young Bucks' confidence high so they can continue to be those annoying heels, which make, you know, just complete sense. And also, you know, I don't want to predict Jungle Boy to win because him and Anna Jay is extremely annoying right now. So I'm going to root for his downfall all the time. But yeah, and the Christian Cage point that you mentioned, I think that makes complete sense. I feel like he's like best as a solo star. So grouping him with the Jungle Express when they already have the Jurassic Express, when they already have their own thing, it just kind of creates like a weird dynamic. And I would like to see them on their own, or I would like to see Christian facing some of the members in that contingent, like you mentioned. So I'm gonna go with Super Click to pull this one out, and yeah, hopefully Jungle Boy doesn't make me eat my words.
Well, coming up next, we have another match that I think we're going to agree on. It's a street fight. The Inner Circle, consisting of Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz, versus Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, Junior Dos Santos, Andre Arlovsky, and Dan Lambert. That's what, top team? America top team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this one's easy. You know, like, it's a street fight, so it's going to be the actual professional wrestlers that win, I think. Dan Lambert's not doing anything in this match. He's gonna take the pin probably. I think it'll be fun. I don't know if I like street fights. Like, I think the Best Friends street fight with Santana and Ortiz that happened last year was fantastic. I think this one should be okay. I'm interested to see what Junior Dos Santos and Andre Arlovsky can do, considering they aren't really professional wrestlers. They're more MMA guys, right? So I'll definitely be interested in seeing that. But yeah, I mean, Inner Circle's going to pick this one up. I think they need a victory.
Yeah, I feel like this one is pretty easy to call. The Inner Circle's going to pull this one out. And I just have to say, this is just ridiculous. Like, I love what American Top Team has brought to the match itself. Paige Van Zant has been, like, a revelation. I feel like she could easily go the professional wrestling route and just make a huge career out of it. Like, she is charismatic, and she's awesome, and she's athletic. I think that would be great. But like you said, the Inner Circle, they definitely need the victory here. I mean, this is the perfect setup to have them get that W. Like you said, Dan Lambert's probably going to take the pin. They can just embarrass him and have the actual, you know, pro wrestlers go over while, you know, making Junior Dos Santos and Andre Arlovsky look strong, you know, which is what they want to do. So Paige Van Zant, whenever she shows up, it's going to be a highlight. I think it's going to be great. And I think the Inner Circle is going to pull this one out. But, man, I'm excited to watch this one and laugh a little bit.
It'll be fun. It'll be a nice little break between the Falls Count Anywhere match and our match that's up next. CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston. CM Punk back in AEW. He has not lost so far. And, frankly, I don't think he's going to lose tonight. I do think Eddie Kingston will eventually be the man to beat CM Punk, maybe in a rubber match. You know, I think this feud's going to continue for a while. There's a lot of heat behind it. But I think CM Punk's going to take this first victory. I think it'll be an amazing match. So far, CM Punk's story in the company has kind of been him going up against a bunch of new guys, Bobby Fish, those kind of people. And he's been, like, tested, you know, which is strange because it's CM Punk. But I'm happy they didn't bring him in and just make him, like, a god, you know, because he hasn't wrestled in, you know,
like 7 years.
7 years or whatever, so it makes sense. That being said, I don't think he's going to lose tonight. I don't think he's going to win tonight. No, I don't think he's going to lose tonight. I think he's going to, no, wait.
You heard it the first
time. Yeah, I did. Yeah, okay. I think he's going to beat Eddie Kingston is all I'm saying.
I would have to agree. I mean, I feel like, one, this program picked up really quickly. Like, it was, you know, just nothing, and then it just zoomed, like 0
Eddie,
to
like,
60.
interrupted Punk in a backstage segment, and then Eddie destroys him on the mic the next week.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And again, credit to both of them. And this just goes to show how good they are on the mic, to where the match can pick up just so quickly, just off of like a few promos. Basically, Eddie Kingston came out and said on Rampage, like, I don't care about winning or losing at Full Gear. So when someone says that, they're probably going to lose.
Yes.
I mean, that's just like, once you hear that, you know the person that said it isn't winning.
Mm-hmm.
However, it doesn't take away from the intrigue of this matchup. Like, both of them are tremendous on the mic, and they're going to go out later tonight and leave it in the ring. And it's a rivalry that writes itself. I mean, you got two of the best talkers in professional wrestling. And, you know, I think Eddie Kingston, I don't know if he's going to be the one to beat Punk, but this is 15 years in the making. You know, Punk outlined it perfectly about how, you know, Samoa Joe and Homicide and Amazing Red, like, they all judged Eddie Kingston. Like, the storyline between these two has just been phenomenal. And I think that Punk is going to pick up the win, but this match is going to be tremendous between the two of them, and I'm excited to watch it.
As am I. Up next, another new star, or not a new star, but a new star in AEW. Mm-hmm. We have the AEW Championship Eliminator Tournament Finals, Bryan Danielson versus Miro. We might disagree on this one, I'm going to be honest with you, because I think Miro is going to beat Bryan Danielson. I don't think Miro will go on to take the belt, but I do think that now is the time to put Miro over. It's not the time to have Bryan lose, but I do think that Miro is going to take the opportunity he was given, and I think he's going to crush it, literally. You know, I mean, I don't know if I want to see a squash match. I wouldn't mind seeing a squash match personally, but man, I'm very excited for this match. Two extremely talented people who have I'm assuming they've wrestled together, considering they were both in WWE for a while.
Probably.
But man, I want to see a powered up Miro just like absolutely killing it.
Yeah. You know what? We're gonna have to agree here. Like, and I think this match hinges on who wins the main event later. Which, I mean, obviously, it's the winner of this becomes the number one contender. Mm-hmm. But like, on the surface, you mentioned it. It seems like a surefire win for Bryan Danielson. He hasn't lost yet. Like, he's been in perfect form the entire time. However, it's like we're basically I'm just going to spoil it. If Adam Page wins over Kenny Omega later, you know, in the main event, at that point he needs a heel to face, which is why I picked MJF earlier, which is why I'm going to be picking Miro now. I mean, like, you need that unstoppable force like Miro to be that first challenger, you know, and maybe Miro beats Page, maybe Page, but like the point is, AEW really can't go wrong here, but I feel like Miro needs the win big time. You know, he dropped the TNT championship to Sammy Guevara, and that made no sense to me. But if they took that belt off him to push him into the stratosphere, into that top level, because the TNT championship, it's a mid-card belt. Yeah. So if they took that from him to move him up into the big leagues, which I feel like he deserves now that he's with that Redeemer gimmick, like, he is insane right now.
Oh, he's on top of the world.
I feel like if they did that just to put him, like, up in that upper echelon, I feel like it makes perfect sense. And I think Miro should get the victory here. And, yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
I agree. I'm really surprised. You know, I didn't think we were going to agree there. Now I'm kind of worried that we're going to be agreeing the entire show. Up next is the AEW Tag Team Championships, the Lucha Brothers versus the new AAA champions, FTR. I think this match may be match of the night. Two extremely talented tag teams who have put on, you know, matches of the year before, both of them. I don't think that the titles are going to change hands this soon. You know, the Lucha Brothers just recently won them in that awesome cage match. It was a cage match, right? Against the Young Bucks. And while this feud's been very hot, I do think that FTR winning the AAA tag titles has kind of allowed them to. They can take a loss. You know, they can eat a pin if they really need to. But I'm extremely excited to see this match. You know, like, Lucha Brothers and FTR, they're great in extreme matches, they're great in cage matches, but a down-to-roots wrestling match is something that is, you know, they excel at, I think. Especially FTR, you know, no flips, just fists.
You know, I'm going to go with the Lucha Bros as well. first things first. Can we just say how hideous those AAA titles are? I
They're
don't
really
wanna,
ugly.
I don't want to aggravate anyone,
No, they're
but
ugly.
it's like, it looks like they're plastic.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. They got to go back to the drawing board with that one. But I feel like the Lucha Bros are going to get the victory here. I mean, another thing, I don't think we did a show for All Out, but that cage match,
Crazy.
man.
Crazy.
Oh my God.
The thumbtacks on the Jordans? Come on.
The edge
Come on,
of my
man.
seat the entire time. Like, that's greatness personified. Like, it gets no better than that. That's just straight up tag team action. You've had the storyline. I think the Lucha Bros before that match, they were like 0-3 in championship opportunities. Like, that was it for them. That was it for them. And to beat just smarmy heels like the Young Bucks, like, that just made it so much sweeter. So I think, like you said, I feel like it's too soon for them to lose the belt. That was only, a handful of months ago. I feel like they could keep it. They can just, keep the titles. And I feel like they deserve a long run for everything they've done for the company. And, I mean, if FTR wins, like, do you really want them with every championship, tag title in the company? I don't think that should be the case. So FTR, they're phenomenal. And I think this could, I mean, did you say it's, like, match of the night?
I contender, for sure.
Man, like, I think this is going to be right up there with the Super Click match that we mentioned earlier, just because there's just so much talent, like, in the match. Like, I don't see this match going sideways or being bad or lackluster. Like, I think there's just too much talent in the ring for this one to be anything less than 5 stars. So I'm going to pick the Lucha Bros to win, and I'm excited to be at the edge of my seat again.
As am I. Honestly, as am I. Up next is the AEW Women's Championship, Britt Baker versus Tay Conti. I really like the story that they've been doing with Tay Conti, where she's slowly been building her way up to eventually facing Britt Baker. Sadly, though, I don't think she's going to win. I think Britt Baker's going to win again. I don't see her losing this belt for a long while. I think there's no one in the company, except maybe Thunder Rosa, that she could lose to and still, like, and I don't want to say make it realistic because it's professional wrestling, but I really think Thunder Rosa is the only person in this company that she can lose to. I can't possibly see her losing to Tay Conti tonight. I do think it'll be a great match, though. Britt Baker kills it every single time. She might be, honestly, she's probably in my top 5 of professional wrestlers as of right now. I think she's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. Again, first things first, like, shout out to Tay Conti. The work she's put in to improve offensively over the past, like, year and a half, like, to watch someone take those strides and make those strides in the ring, like, it's not very often you can, like actively notice someone's in-ring development, but with her, it's like she's just blossomed over the last year or so, and it's been tremendous. And the fact that she's wrestling for the Women's Championship on pay-per-view is evidence of that growth. Like, the people backstage have noticed the work she's been putting in, and I'm super excited for her and, what she can showcase in the future. Tonight, though, she's not winning. Like, it's just not, I don't see an avenue where they do this. Britt Baker's having the run of her career, the run of her life. And like you said, I feel like Thunder Rosa is probably the only person, maybe Hikaru Shida, they're like the only people I could see, taking this belt from Britt Baker in the future. So I'm excited for this match. I think it's going to be a good one. Britt Baker is having a tremendous run, and Tay Conti, she has just been excellent in ring, just making those developments over the past year or so. But I think the champ remains the champ.
I agree. I do think it'll be probably a pretty close match. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of moments where we're going to think, will they? Won't they? But on to the main event of the evening. Sadly, another one where I think we agree.
Yeah.
The AEW Championship match, Kenny Omega, who's the champion, versus Hangman Adam Page. This is a match years in the making, almost from the inception, almost from like the first episode of Dynamite. They had a tag run together. They beat SCU for the tag belts. They went on a run for a bit, and then they lost it to FTR, correct? And then they broke up. They had a feud, which was good. And then Hangman started working his way up the ranks slowly. He beat Brian Cage. He beat Pac, building his way up. And then, not sadly, but happily, his wife got pregnant, so he took a little break, which did set back plans for him to take the belt, I'm assuming. But we're finally here, and Hangman Page is finally going to become the AEW champion. He lost to Chris Jericho at Double or Nothing, correct?
Mhm.
I still think that's kind of a bad idea. I mean, looking back now, I'm happy where Hangman Adam Page is. I think it's an awesome story that he's been involved in. The pop in that building when he wins is going to be ginormous.
Mhm.
It would have been nice to see him beat Chris Jericho. I think that would have put him on top immediately. But I mean, Hangman's going to win. I don't know. If you think differently, it'd be interesting. But I think Kenny as the champion has kind of hit its peak.
Mhm.
And it's also kind of stopped him from being able to face some wrestlers because he's the champion, and maybe they don't want to put the belt on Punk, or they don't want to put the belt on. I mean, he wrestled Bryan Danielson, but I think now that Kenny will have the belt taken off of him, the opportunities for him and the Elite are going to be huge. They could go, other companies if they really wanted to. He could wrestle anybody, and I think that possibility is more exciting than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree 110%. I feel like I feel like Hangman Page is going to get the W here. I feel like, first off, this storyline has been tremendous. Watching Adam Page fall short time and time again and winning the championship, and yet and still the fans still believe in him, and he's hit rock bottom, and now here he is, just arisen from the ashes like a phoenix almost. So I'm excited to watch him get the victory. And I think the point that you mentioned about Kenny Omega dropping the belt and now being able to face pretty much anyone is a huge point, because that 60-minute draw or whatever it was between him and Bryan Danielson was just so annoying. Like, for them to have such a great match and then have it end in a draw because you didn't want Omega to lose, but you also didn't want Bryan to lose. So it was just like, now once the belt is off of him, he can go wherever he wants. He can wrestle in NJPW or in AEW or in Impact or like wherever. I think that's going to be great. And watching Adam Page get that feel-good moment like Kofi did at WrestleMania, I feel like after watching him put in all the work, like you said, basically from the inception of AEW, I feel like having him finally get the monkey off his back and get that victory, I feel like that's what the fans want to see, and that's what I want to see. So let's go, Adam Page.
Well, I think no matter what happens, we do disagree on Darby Allin versus MJF, so it'll always be a competition. But that being said, that does it for today's special live episode of PTV Heat. Thank you so much for watching. For Evan Hill, this is Cooper Tennant. Have a fantastic day. And because it's a competition, let's go shake hands in front.
Sure, buddy.
A show of sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
May the best man win.
Hey. Thanks, buddy.